conviction last night. I just wondered if you could speak a bit more about what that means. I mean, is that sort of technical thing in your mind, or is it more of a psychological thing?
A bit of both. A bit of both. That you want that responsibility. So when the ball falls to you, that you kind of you embrace that in that moment. So that's a sort of a mental thing. And secondly, it's the conviction in your technique to execute. And not rush or not sort of be in a position where you think you have to do something that is way out from the norm of what you normally do. So look, goal scoring it's the hardest thing in football. We know that, but at the same time, I think there's a methodology and a kind of mindset that when you get into those areas that if you follow and you're really disciplined in your approach and have conviction in what you're doing, you can give yourself a better chance. And when you look at last night, we've got some great areas, some great opportunities, and we didn't really test the goalkeeper or test the opposition.
Was there a danger, do you think, that with all the kind of focus on the start and the identity and everything, that the players are trying to get a bit carried away with that and they kind of forget just to actually, you have to score to win the game as well? Not in that way, but I do think there is always, and again, wherever I've been, it's been a similar experience where sometimes it creeps into the mindset of the players that the football alone will give you that. So we play a certain way, and if we play a certain way, we're definitely going to score and we're definitely going to win, and that's not the case. There's still an execution bit. There's still, what they bring as people to finish all that stuff off. So, if you look at our football, you'd say, okay, we were very dominant, particularly in the first half, but that's proven that that's not enough. If you really want to sort of finish that off, then you've got to be able to execute. So the football won't do that. That has to be the individual and the team as a collective. This has been a sort of an issue with this club for a long time, lack of killer instinct, I guess. Previous managers have talked about it. How do you go about solving that?
By not shying away from it. You just got to work at it. I think you can work at it by being disciplined. By being continually exposed to those kind of conditions, training during games, and not shying away from it. Because if you're going to play at a big club, and a big club where they have success, then that's the responsibility you have. You can't just sort of shy away from that. That's the reality of it. So, from my perspective, that's why I'm unwavering in what we're doing. I'm not going to let us off the hook by saying, yeah, we played some good football last night and that's enough. No, it's not. We've if we want to get to where we want to, and like I said, we've still got a long way to go. We've got to accomplish that part of it as well.
Thank you. You spoke well last night about how plenty of people were saying about being good football things about winning. How do you actually put that across to the players? Entertaining is nice, but being killers is better.
Well, that's the game we're in. It's I've said all along, I don't play this kind of football to entertain. I play this kind of football because it wins. Now it happens to also entertain, which I like. I don't think they need to be mutually exclusive, but ultimately it's because it's successful. Because again, I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't. If it was just something I was kind of conjuring up that people were praising but wasn't getting success, I wouldn't be in the job I am. My whole career has been about winning things. So that's why I want us to play the way we are. Like I said, that's where you can sometimes fall into the trap, and it's happened at every club I've been at, where the players sometimes think that playing that football is enough. It's not.
Son used the word soft last night in his interview after the match. Do you quite like seeing your captain being strict? Do you leave it to him to police the players and tell them what to do?
Yeah, look, again, with the players, I allow them to get to the space they want to. I give them a clear idea about what I think, and then it's how they embrace that and how they then execute that, what they think themselves. But when I spoke to them last night, it wasn't about again, our football. It was about understanding that our football will get us to a certain point.
And if we want to get beyond that point, that's where we've got to really, you know, like I said, be disciplined and have conviction about who we are and what we want to do. And it's only natural at the beginning of a cycle that there's going to be some gaps there, and that's where our gaps are.
Long before you came in, rivals have sort of thrown that Spursy tag
Yeah.
around the club. Does that, I presume you knew about that before coming here? And I mean, what's it like working here with rivals slapping out on you? Is that sort of?
That's schoolyard stuff. What I need to know is that this club hasn't won anything for 15 years. That's all I need to know. Now, why that is, and why other people may think that is, that's, you know, whatever tag you put that, that's the reality, yeah. And there's no going away from that. There's no point in me trying to disguise that, or anyone else at this football club trying to disguise that. If you want to be successful, then you, like most organisations, you've got to learn from the mistakes of the past. You've got to come up with a plan, and you've got to stick to it, as I said last week. And whatever sort of tags other people want to put on it, that can't be your motivation. That can't be what drives you. What's got to drive you is, like I said, that, you know, if you want to bring success, you've got to have a clear idea of how you're going to go about it, and then stick to the process.
Have you heard the old saying about if you give a footballer an excuse, he'll take it? And I mean, do you think that that's fair? And also, I'm just listening to your, you know, your very firm, no excuses kind of messaging. You know, you mentioned Harry Kane, mistakes, all the injuries. How important is it that you're trying to? You're obviously really hitting that hard.
Yeah, I think you're being a bit harsh on footballers. I think all of us in life would do that. You know, it's but in elite sport, it's even more important that you don't allow that to happen, because there isn't any time in your existence as an elite sportsman or as an elite team where there won't be the ability to make an excuse. They're always there, always. It's whether you choose to, you know, let them infiltrate in what you're trying to do, or you use them as a motivation to become stronger in other areas. Because, you know, even if we had one last night and and come out today 3 points better off than where we were, we'd still be at the start of a cycle, and we'd still have plenty of excuses for Sunday, and we'd still have plenty of other things that will come up across our path that if we wanted to use them as a clutch, you can use them. But that's how you don't get to be successful.
I'm really apologetic about my lateness, but I don't know if you were asked this at the top of the press conference, but if Chris came to you and said, it's my first shot at a number one job, I want this, does that mean that you wouldn't stand in his way?
Well, it's not my decision, it's a club decision, but like I said before, and I know you weren't in it, I believe it's part of what I do. I develop staff, I develop players, and I think the sign that you've got good people in your building is that they're wanted by others. So I'd be much more concerned if no one was showing an interest in our people. But in terms of the way forward, well, that's going to be a club decision, and Chris will be involved in that. I'll have my views, but I won't be the final sort of say in that.
Just back to what Kieran was saying about the Spurs attack, which you understand and describe as schoolyard stuff, but when you have a run like this, 5 games in a row, taking the lead, not winning games, it's often the first thing they use to beat you. I'm just wondering, since you've been here, do you get any sense that that kind of perception weighs the players down to it?
Well, put it this way, it shouldn't weigh the new players down because they have no history in it. Now, whether it weighs the ones who've been here, that's something that, you know, it's hard for me to gauge, but it's not something that I reflect on or kind of talk about from a historical perspective. All you can do is chart your way forward. You know, if you want to change perceptions, there's only one way to do it. You know, it's not going to. People are not going to just change their minds and change what they think about you because you want them to. You've got to give them a reason to. And that's the position we're in. And that's, like I keep saying, that's why I'm here, because the club wanted to change its course, you know. So that's what I'm doing. And, you know, I think I said in day one, change means change. Change in everything. change. And if it means change in mindset because maybe people are carrying, scars of the past, well, let's get rid of them. You can't just wish upon things. Things have to happen. You have to change the course of what you're doing. And that's what I'm embarked on. And, I'm at pains to say, and it sounds repetitive, but we're just at the beginning. For in my mind, what we need to look like, we've got a long way to go. Notwithstanding that, in the meantime, in the short term, we still got to, provide reward for our supporters and make sure that as a football club we're in the position we need to be.
Just on Brennan, you pointed out he's a young player at the start of his journey. He was also signed for quite a lot of money for Tottenham. I know the fees these days are mad, but it was an expensive fee. I was wondering, do you get any sense that fees weighing in there?
Again, he's joined a big football club. You can't play for a big football club and hide away. It doesn't happen. If you want to play you look at any player who goes to a big football club, that's where they want to be. They want the responsibility. They want the limelight. They want to be the person that, makes that difference. And that's why Brendan came here. He could very easily have stayed at Nottingham Forest, where, again, he was making a great career for himself, but he wanted to get out of his comfort zone because he'd been there for so long, and he chose to come to a big club. Well, that's part of being at a big club, and I know he knows that, but that's not just an overnight thing. He will come to embrace that, I'm sure. We've seen, elements of his game that are very, very exciting, and we just got to get him to do that more now and believe in himself more. And I know that'll come. I've got full faith it'll come. I've seen it in him. But like any other process, with young players and young people, they've got to get to that space. You try and help them to get there as quickly as possible, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer.
Just that message about the responsibility of being at a big club and what it comes with, that seems quite relevant to Charleston as well. I know he's just come back from injury. He's obviously had a difficult time, from at least from goal scoring since he's been here, but it feels like, particularly with the injuries, and particularly with Son, might miss the game, this is his chance, this is his time. Do you feel like, presumably you want him to step up now, and that's the...
It's not about wanting him to step up, but like I said, that's the opportunity, and again, with all footballers, that's all you can really ask for. There's nothing more that, a club or a manager can provide for you, but, the basic framework of saying, well, here's an opportunity for you, and, your opportunity now exists to, make your own mark and make an impact. So, I mean, it's great to have him back, and fair to say he looks a lot freer and better physically than he did earlier in the year when he was kind of struggling through things. So, it seems like the intervention, in terms of the medical intervention, has been positive for him. He's short of some match fitness, but it was good to get him, on last night for a bit more time. And, we're going to need him. We're going to need all the guys because, like I said, the group we've got at the moment is what we're going to have between now and sort of foreseeable future. So, they're the ones that are going to have to sort of turn the fortunes around.
Darren, anything to finish us off?
Just one from me. You kind of spoke this earlier in the season about how your own career trajectory, you've always had to defy the odds and prove who you were, and you're proud of that. You can apply that now in real time, I can imagine, this whole Spurs.
Yeah, exactly. And, I have, Darren, I have the benefit of experience. I've been through this many times. So I know unequivocally what we need to do. But for a lot of these guys, it's the first time. And I'm always mindful of that wherever I've been. And that's why I know that invariably, sometimes it's happened at the beginning of my tenure, sometimes it's happened in the middle, sometimes it's happened at the end of the first season. But always in that first season, there's challenges. And players need to go through that and come out the other side and see that, okay, we've survived that. It hasn't killed us. We're still going. We're still alive. We're still upright. And if anything, it can make us stronger going forward. But like I said, I have the benefit of that experience. The players don't. My role in this is to guide them through that. I know how we get through this, and I know what the road forward looks like. but they got to go through it themselves and find out about themselves. Do they want to be part of this? Because it's not going to get any easier. That's the one thing I keep telling them. There's never going to be a time where it's going to be smooth, not while I'm at the club. Even when things are going well, I'm going to be pushing for us to be better. I'm going to be pushing for us to improve. I'm going to be pushing for us to bring success to this football club. So there's never going to be a time where they can, feel any sort of comfort that, things are going to run smoothly. So, the more they embrace this side of it, and it's a great time for me this is where I'm, apart from the beginnings, this is where I'm most alert, not just with the players, with the staff, with everyone at the football club. How's everyone reacting to this? It gives me a good indicator about what we need to do going forward.